It's showtime, folks. Welcome in. Chase and Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game on this Monday. Hope you're having a great start to your day. He is Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos back at the studio. Jojo, what's up?
Oh, what a beautiful day. Look, I don't care if it's raining, drizzling, and miserable. I don't care. It's a beautiful day. And we're at a very special event today out in Gallatin.
We are Habitat for Humanity of Sumner County, which, of course, is here in the Gallatin area. We're at the Habitat Restore facility in Gallatin. It's their third annual Playhouse project. We're here with our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. They got their setup out here. They are building a playground. And, I mean, this is a facility we've been to before. It's really cool. And what they do with Habitat for Humanity and just a great community cause that we're happy to be a part of. DVD will be here as well. So we'll be telling you more about that throughout the day. 10 local families will receive custom-built playhouses this afternoon, built in just one day by incredible community sponsors. So how cool is that?
It's wonderful. Can you imagine if they tasked me and you with building a playhouse?
I think we'd get it done eventually, but we'd be calling Dr. Crane to come help us.
Oh, yeah, that's our ace in the hole.
Yeah, Dr. Crane,
yes.
we need you.
Yeah,
yes.
I can do that. Over the weekend, I
could.
stitched yeah, you'll love this. Over the weekend, I stitched. It took me about 6 hours. A new steering wheel cover for the car.
Okay,
That's awesome,
that's amazing.
man. You're the best.
So really cool that they're going to be doing this. So a lot of the Preds are involved in this too. The Titans are involved in this as well. So really neat to have them everything here. So we'll be telling you more about that throughout the day. Coming up at 9:30, Brett Kern going to join us usually at 10. But we have something special at 10, and we'll just leave it at that. We won't say any more.
Oh, okay.
But we will do that at 10 o'clock. So looking forward
I'm
to
not
that.
sure I'm aware of this.
You are, but that's why I said we'll say
Smart
no
man.
more.
You are a smart man for not letting me know that. I get this. Okay, I'm
Okay.
on board. Well done with that.
You do. But basically a big announcement coming out at 10 o'clock, and we will tell you more
Okay.
about that then.
Oh, nice.
With a friend of ours will be on the show.
Oh, no. Okay. All right.
Not that friend.
I think I'm figuring it out now.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Well, good.
I heard, so I always enjoy listening to the Robbie and Rex Road program.
Favorite show.
Great show. And they asked a question today several times. They asked it when they had Corey Curtis on, but they were talking about it amongst themselves. And I heard it and I was like, this is the perfect way to kind of segue from their show to our show. What do you feel better about today? The Titans on offense or the Titans on defense?
Neither.
Okay.
They've done nothing to show me they're good. Neither.
Well, I'm not going to say they've done nothing. They've definitely made some moves.
That team, you see that team on the field yet?
No.
Exactly.
But I mean, on paper, what do you feel better about?
Again, I'm indifferent because I got to see it. I'm not to being a jerk. I don't do the paper game.
Okay.
I don't do the paper game until I see that team on the field, how they're going in game one. I don't know. Now, they upgraded at positions. Yeah. Did we think that last year and the year before that? They've upgraded, and still it's not good. Didn't the Preds upgrade? Right? Did we see all that stuff there? So I'm wrong about figuring things out. I'm wrong. I thought the Preds would go to the Stanley Cup. I thought the Titans would get better when they added a few free agents last year, and they didn't. So right now I'm indifferent. Not to be a contrarian, but I'm right down the middle. Until I see that team on the field, I won't think they're any better.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Look, it's totally fair. For me, if just to play this game, I'm going to say the offense because they drafted a quarterback. We'll see. We have no idea what he looks like in the NFL.
Right.
But they addressed the offensive line, and I mean, surely this offensive line can be better than last year's.
Well, maybe, and stop calling me Shirley. But the left tackle, nobody likes him. They say he's a terrible player. So
right,
we get all that. I like the guard. What's a Spritzer? The guy they got from the Lions, whoever that guy is.
Zeitler.
I like
Zeitler.
Zeitler. There you go. I think he's good. I think he's got long in the tooth, which is great for an offensive lineman. And I do think J.C. Latham's going to be a really good right tackle because now he's back in his normal position. So there's a lot that you can be like, hey, this is great. But until I see all that come together, man, I just don't know.
I know. But I just it's such an interesting question.
It is. There's so many holes to fill in this football team.
And they're
that
never going to
until-
fill them all in one off season. We knew
Exactly.
that. And we said this last year, but I think I will say this, and you tell me what you think. I like the approach this year much better than I did last year. I
Okay.
think last year they tried to overspend in free agency
Yeah.
and got players that weren't good or not good enough and overpaid them to try and fill all the holes in one off season and then address it through the draft. They tried to force a right tackle into left tackle, which ultimately could have worked, if you give it more time, but they don't have that they don't have that luxury.
Remember, they lied to us.
They did lie to us. Yeah.
All right, left tackle. Wait, left
Yeah.
tackle. Bill Callahan, left tackle. Bill
Yeah,
Callahan.
Right. They tried to play that. But so I definitely like the approach that Borgonzi and I guess Brinker too has had this year of like, hey, we're gonna spend a little bit in free agency to fill some needs, but we're not, ultimately that's not how you fix a football team.
Right.
We're gonna do that in the draft, and they ended up with
I like it.
9 draft picks?
I'm liking these guys.
Yeah,
I'm liking
so-
these guys. That's how you build a team. What's the left tackle's name? Roy Jones Jr.
Dan Moore.
Dan Moore. God, I am just. What day is it? Cinco de Mayo. There we go.
That sounds like a race car driver from the 80s. And in the 25 car, it's Roy Jones Jr. out of North Carolina.
Isn't he a writer or a boxer or something? I think he is. He's a famous writer or boxer. By the way, today's Cinco de Mayo. Do you think Will Levis is celebrating?
I don't know. I don't know what Will Levis is doing. And
I mean, it's the Mayo, right, Dr. Crane? You know that.
I see what you did there.
Repeat that, please.
Cinco de Mayo. You think Will Levis is celebrating Cinco de Mayo?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, de Mayo too. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what you did there. Did you stay up all night working on that?
Stop touching me. Yes, I did.
I'm not touching you.
No, look, and the rookies I think arrived this week, right? I think they're doing some kind of camp here, and so once they get in, things get going. Then I'm really interested to see two things, Chase. The schedule next week on the 14th.
Yep.
I think the Titans need to start off at home. I think they need a home game. I think that was so vital. You get a home game, you feel better at home. Things are always better at home when you get the crowd behind you and you're used to surroundings. If they go on the road for 2 games, it's not good.
No, I agree. I mean, I think if they can open at home, that would be ideal.
Yep.
Maybe the first 2.
That'd be great. It'd be so great.
What did they do? Okay, now I'm curious. Chicago opened at home because they played the Titans, but with Caleb, the number 1 overall pick last year.
Yes.
So let's see. They did, just a moment. So they opened. They were on the road the next week at Houston. So they opened against the Titans at home, and then they went to Houston the next week and lost.
Curious. Did Bryce Young start at home in 23? Is that a thing where the number 1 pick gets to start at home? And 22 was that dude from Jacksonville that we all forgot about. 21 was Lawrence. 20 was Burrow.
Bryce Young, they started at Atlanta.
Okay. So there goes my theory out the window then. All right.
What was 2022?
The guy from Jacksonville.
Yeah, I don't care about that. What was 2021?
Trevor Lawrence.
Jacksonville.
I think you'd want your number 1 guy to start at home. I would think so.
Let's see. Jacksonville started at Houston.
Sorry, can we redo this segment again?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I
sorry.
just, but it's interesting. I mean, look, you got me thinking. Jacksonville also started 0-5.
In 21?
Yeah.
Oh man. I do. I mean, I think starting
Well,
at home-
remember that was Urban.
That's right. Oh, what a disaster. Fired 10 games into the season. No, I just think it'd be great. No, I go back. I mean, look, yeah, it's the paper thing looks great. They've upgraded things like that, but we've seen this before, man. And like, oh, they've added all these great free agents and they come in and it doesn't mesh. And just, you don't know until that first game. I'm interested to see who the joint practice is with this year. Because we were out there last year with the Seahawks. That's where the great work is in preseason. I mean, Calvin Ridley can hit. I mean, Cam Moore can hit Calvin Ridley on a down and out all throughout practice when they're being guarded. That's easy. But when you go against those joint practices, man, they're throwing everything at you. I'm looking forward to that hot day in August, see what goes on.
So I 9064, and you can weigh in 615-737-1025 on our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. I feel this way too. It's going to be the Titans at home versus the Patriots, the number one pick versus Vrabel's return storyline.
I like what you said better. It's better. That game is better on a Thursday night when
Like
it's-
week 2.
Yeah, maybe a little bit on down. I think week 2 you got to pop it out with a good game.
Yeah.
But I think on down because the drama is there within itself. Again, though, nobody cares about this outside Nashville. Nobody cares.
Yeah. I mean, people care. The NFL cares about the number one overall pick.
But I'm talking about the Vrabel Titans thing. You know, and they'll build it up a little bit on the network, and that's fine. But outside of that, no.
Could you imagine if it was Monday night? If it was week 1 Monday Night Football?
Oh, it'd be. They do double. They do 2 games.
I know.
That would be really good if it was.
That would be awesome. I mean, there's no way. I don't think.
I wouldn't. If I'm the home office, the number one, the team they get the number
But I
one
mean,
pick, number 4.
but here's the thing: the Patriots are intriguing because it's the Patriots, and Vrabel's taking over as the head coach. They've done a lot in the offseason. You're building around Drake May. So the Patriots are intriguing. And then you have the storyline of the number one overall pick plus Vrabel coming back to Nashville.
Yeah, I see that. And
so I mean, I could talk myself into it, but can the league talk themselves into it?
By the way, on our camera, on stream, you look great.
Thanks.
I look like I'm entering heaven.
Well, your camera's reversed for one, so you need to flip it around.
Okay, is that what's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah, that has a lot to do with it.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't do
That's
that.
better.
Dr. Crane did that.
Dr. Crane.
You're good, Joe.
I
Thanks,
still
Dr.
look
Crane.
like Chase looks like a male model. I look like I'm getting ready to talk to St. Peter about something. This looks terrible.
I don't know.
You got a little blue
Lord.
tint to you, Joe. You got a lot of blood flow up there.
I don't know what's going on. They said the camera adds 10 pounds. This thing adds about 70.
I don't know what's going on either. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
But look at that. You look great, man. And
Thank you.
Oh, man.
We are live today at the Habitat Restore in Gallatin. It is the 3rd annual Playhouse project for Habitat of Humanity of Sumner County. We're here with our friends of Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville, and we'll have more coming up. Brett Kern at the bottom of the hour, Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. The 615 Open Charity Golf Tournament benefiting Folds of Honor presented by Gary Force Acura at Hermitage Golf Course is on Thursday, May 29th. Sign up to play or sponsor at 615open.com. Looking forward to that event again. We'll be there hanging out.
So are we going to golf or are we just going to hang out and make fun of people?
We are going, I have secured us a golf cart.
Oh, great.
And potentially equipment to actually be live in the golf cart.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And we're going to go hole to hole and mess with people.
Good. I like that.
I need to hear your best Vern Lundquist on the 17th green.
You'll get that. I was worried in the back of my mind that you and our beautiful GM came up with this. Hey, let's have a hole where our talent does the drive for the people. You know, you go to a golf tournament, like on the 14th hole, Bill Smith's going to do their celebrity drive for you because you don't want us. Now, 1 out of 100 of my shots is straight down the middle, 300 yards. The other 99 is going to take out the cart to the left of us. So, no, this will be much better. I look forward to that.
Yes, it'll be good. And today we're out in Gallatin at the Habitat Restore for the 3rd annual Playhouse Project benefiting Habitat for Humanity of Sumner County. We're here with our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville, one of our great partners here at Cromwell Media and 102.5 The Game. So glad to be out here. The Titans are here. The Preds are here. So they just doing a lot to build these playhouses. They will have 10 local families will receive a custom-built playhouse this afternoon. They'll build them all in just one day. So really, really cool.
That's amazing.
How they can do that.
That's amazing.
Speaking of the Preds and things this afternoon, Barry Trotz will be addressing the media for the first time since the season ended today at 12:15. You can hear that live on 102.5, 106.3 The Game around that time during DVD. So they will be able to carry that. The question is obviously on everybody's mind, is Andrew Brunette returning as the head coach?
Mm-hmm.
My guess is the answer to that question is yes.
Okay.
At this point. I would be really surprised if it's different because, one, I think the Elliot Friedmans of the world probably would have already had it.
Right. There's nothing out there.
So I would be very, very surprised if there's a change there. Now, the staff, I could see there being changes on the staff. But, and I will say, and I've said this before, I like Andrew Brunette. I think he's a good coach. I think that he's going to have to make some drastic changes in order for this to work with this group of players. The players basically told you that in their end of season availability of, it didn't work, so something has to change. And I know he adjusted as the year went on, but for Barry Trotz, quite frankly, it's going to be a tough sell because,
Sure.
You know how fans are. Now, sometimes I think it's too quick, too easy of an answer to fire the coach. But you do get to a point where, all right, the system's not working, the coaching's not working. You can't fire all the players. So, yeah, you do have to make a coaching change. And I think Barry is extremely loyal, and I respect that. I think David Poyle was extremely loyal to him. And maybe there was a time period, and it was a different time. It was an expansion era. The expansion rules are much different now. There also wasn't Twitter, so you couldn't hear how hot the fan base was. But my guess is there was a time where it was like, all right, this isn't working. Trotz has to go. Poyle stuck with him. And, I know they didn't win a Stanley Cup here, but it was the right move to stick with him when they did. So, and then they eventually get to a point where they win a playoff series. And then they got to a point where David had to make a change.
Yeah, look, we talk about hypotheticals. We don't get into them, but we always get into them. Say you make a coaching change, and then at this time next year, it's the same result.
Exactly.
Like, oh my gosh, What's going on here? So look, you saw everything that was bad. Now fix everything that was bad and run it back in a different way this year. Keep the coach in there. Make the decision today that he's going to come back. Everybody's on board. Everybody's good with this, and then go forward and say, look, here's what we did wrong. We'll make it better and go. Whatever Trotz does, he knows far more than we do and comfortable with that. I just know that if you let your coach go that you handpicked as your first thing as a GM and he's gone, that reflects bad on you. And I love Barry Trotz. I love Barry Trotz. I say run it back one more year. Do it today, make it out and go with it.
And I mean, I think you bring him back, but I think the leash is short. Now, the thing is, how much has he been talking behind the scenes with some of the guys that are available? We know Mike Sullivan he wasn't on the market very long. He gets let go in Pittsburgh and then
Right.
goes to the Rangers. And I didn't think he'd be gone very long. I think Tockett's out there, Laviolette's out there, which I don't see a scenario of bringing him back. There's several others that are available that he could talk to. Obviously, Joel Quenneville is the big one that is available. But if ultimately he feels like Andrew Burnett's his guy and is the right guy for this team, then I support that. But the results have to change, and they have to change quickly.
So I'm all about,
and I think Barry Trotz gets a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because of who he is.
Don't you already think though they would have made a coaching change?
I would think so.
Right. I think
because I mean, look,
get the ball rolling.
Quite frankly, I think he waited too long with John Hines, and that was unfair to John Hines. Now, John Hines ended up getting the job with Minnesota. And, say what you want about John Hines. His team went to the playoffs this year. Yours did.
Right.
So, you can look at that any way you would like, but I think because it was the end of May before they made that move. And obviously this is the beginning of May, so he's taken a couple weeks, but still it's been a while. So, he needs to be definitive on what he's doing today.
Well, here's the thing. He's got
the draft lottery tonight.
He's got to get it correct.
He does.
That's the thing.
Because that benefit of the doubt that we love Barry Trotz, that, hey, he's the man, that hourglass is eventually going to run out.
That's a good point.
And so, and look, it's nothing personal. It's all due respect. But this fan base is tired of just getting invited to the party. They want to take over the whole thing. Yeah. They want to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
This fan base has been patient. I mean, this city has been patient long enough to not have a major championship in its 27-ish years of being a pro sports town. There's no major championship to show for it.
No, right?
I mean, the Sounds won a PCL title. Great. Congratulations. Nashville Stampede won something. Great. Congratulations. Not taking anything away from that. But the Titans have not won a Super Bowl. The Predators have not won the Stanley Cup. MLS is new to the party. But again, no offense, NHL, NFL are quite above that.
Well, we did that one day with cities that have two sports teams. I'm talking the big four. I'm not talking soccer, NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, that have never won a championship. In Nashville, unfortunately, is in that category. I mean, it's sometimes you hope you get out of it, but right now the Titans, as bad as they are, and the Preds in kind of a disarray, I don't see the landscape changing for a little bit. I hope I'm wrong, man.
Justin and Greenbrier, I feel like Andrew Burnett would be a better as the assistant coach here. He had a great success doing that job, and I feel like that's his wheelhouse. Bring in someone else and let him stay on as an assistant, that would be a win-win in the eyes of this fan. I love that in theory, but that doesn't happen.
So let me ask you again. We talked at the beginning of this. If he's come, these stories usually break. Some insider breaks this. I mean, there's always an insider breaks something here, but there's been nothing coming out from the Predators. I mean, these guys that cover the team or these insiders, like Andrew Burnett's coming back. So that makes me like, is he coming back? Do we know this? Because usually this comes out there.
I mean, I agree. I feel like he is, but we'll find out in a few hours at 12:15. And again, you can hear that on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. And also the draft lottery will be tonight starting at 6 o'clock. We'll have coverage of that as well, as we will find out where the Predators will pick.
What, besides the coach, what do you want to hear from Barry Trotz today? What's the one thing you want to hear him talk about? Why it didn't work?
No, because that doesn't matter now. I mean, like, you got to fix that, obviously. But now what are you going to do to fix it? So I would say what he envisions what the roster plan is moving forward. Now, he's not going to 100% be able to answer that until after 6 o'clock tonight when he knows when he's picking, because that will change things.
Mm-hmm.
But they have 3 first-round picks this year. You can do a lot with that. So but mainly it's the roster plan. Like, okay, now you've established what's staying. What are you going to do to fix all this?
What if they get the number 1 pick? Titans had the number 1 pick. How bad is that?
Well, I have a stat on that later in the show, but we
Okay.
got to get to Brett Kern coming up next. We'll get his thoughts on all of this with the Titans, including the quote-unquote quarterback competition that they have talked about. Brett Kern joins us next. We're live today in Sumner County in Gallatin, the Habitat of Humanity of Sumner County's third annual Playhouse project here at the Habitat Restore on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. This makes me feel good.
Heck yeah.
Out here in Gallatin, the Habitat Restore third annual Playhouse Project. We're here with our friends from Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. But we say hello now to Brett Kern, former Titans punter, who's on the line with us. Brett, I want to start. I didn't even prep you for this one. How would it feel to have the Titans have the number 1 overall pick in the draft and the Predators have the number 1 overall pick in their draft?
I mean, that's probably not great for the state that the Titans and the Predators are in to have two of your city's teams get the number 1 pick. But, that's just where it is right now. And if the Preds get it tonight, or at least in the top 3, I would hope to go out and get a solid pick that could, come in potentially right away and start making an impact for the Preds.
It could definitely be interesting. So speaking of that number 1 overall pick, we know it's Cam Ward. He is now a member of the Tennessee Titans. And last week, I call them the two-tone contingent of Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker. That's their new nickname. So if they start using that, I expect credit. But they basically said there was going to be a competition, that it's up to Brian Callahan. And then Callahan doubled down on that when he spoke on Thursday, saying that, Will's in the mix, Brandon Allen's in the mix, everybody's going to compete. Competition's a good thing. And I think we all are smarter than that and know that that's not true. So how do you handle that if you're the Titans, of basically saying that there's a quarterback competition, even though we all know there really isn't?
Yeah, I mean, I think, for Cam to be the number 1 pick, to obviously get the number 1 jersey and everything that came around with that, obviously I think he has to be the starter. It doesn't have to be, but I think he will. I mean, how would you feel if Brandon Allen, if they came out and said, hey, Brandon Allen's our starter, we're just going to let Cam, kind of observe, and at some point during the season, we're going to make the switch. I mean, how would you guys, if they came out and said that, which I don't think they will, but how would you feel about that?
Oh, I would be like, what?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd be like, I'd question some things.
Yes.
Right. So like Cam's going to be your starter, right? And so obviously having Will there, the draft came, it went, people thought he was going to get moved. That's the past. That obviously it didn't happen. So it's not like, what the Seahawks did when they drafted Milroe, and then all of a sudden, they traded Sam Howell, who's, got a pretty good resume under his belt and what he's been able to do in his career, with the Commanders and so on. But, obviously trading him to Minnesota for them to get a proven backup, behind JJ. But obviously the Titans didn't do that. You see some other teams that kind of, they bring in a guy. Obviously they draft somebody like Cam, and they bring in somebody, the Commanders, when they brought in Marcus, right? Very similar to Jaden in skill set and all that kind of stuff. But that Jaden's going to be the starter, right? And you have a very capable backup. So, with Will, I mean, obviously I think there's going to be a competition. He's on the roster. And as long as you're on the roster, you're competing, right? In every room, whether it's receivers, corners, we talked about it last week. I mean, the more guys that you have in the room to compete, that's how you get your best, your best roster, right? So you can dress your 48 on Sunday. And so, I think, like, I still hold true to what I said last week, that I think Will's going to get a good amount of time to be playing in the preseason. Cam's going to get his reps, right? Brandon Allen's probably going to get his reps, but he's also played in the NFL. He's got, he's not a rookie, right? So you feel more comfortable if it's like, hey man, you can go in, you get a second quarter, maybe you get a fourth quarter. But I think Will's going to get a serious amount of reps in the preseason, and then you kind of see what happens from there. So.
Yeah, talking to Brett Kerr this morning on the Jason Big Joe Show. Brett, you're on that team in 2015 where Mariota came in. Was there any doubt when he was going to be the starter? Because, I mean, it's kind of similar to now. I mean, there was like Mettenberger was there and a few things, but still, he was a guy coming in, never took a snap in the NFL. But if I recall, there was never a doubt that Mariota was not going to be that starting quarterback come the fall.
Yeah, I think I don't know like what would be the pick per se, like, but I feel like if you're a quarterback and you're taking in the top 5, you're going to play, right? Maybe even top 10. I wonder at what point, is it 12, where Mahomes is like, you can sit, granted you had Alex Smith, Jordan Love had Aaron Rodgers. Like there's certain situations where teams draft guys in the first round. Lamar Jackson sitting behind Joe Flacco, right? I just feel like if you're probably 10 and over, right? Usually there might be somebody, that you can be behind, right, and learn from. Whereas I feel like if you're top 5, you're starting. Like there's expectations that, hey man, you at any position, right? But especially quarterback, where it's like, hey man, we got the number 1 pick, we're picking you. Hey, we have the number 2 pick. Even when Tampa took Jameis, like you're starting. Marcus, you're number 2, like you're starting. Oh, and we're going to play week 1 against each other down in Tampa, right?
Right.
So I just think there's expectations where if you're, top 5 pick at a quarterback, like you're starting, and especially you add, the whole number 1 jersey thing and warm all that. What like dude, you're starting.
Yeah, exactly. Let me ask you this though. This is kind of an inside baseball question. During practice, they would have you catch passes from quarterbacks when the team was warming up. What one quarterback used to just burn your hand when you caught the ball? They threw the ball so hard.
Well, Mettenberger or Rusty Smith.
Really?
Both of them were just like, and I don't know if it was because of me and like, oh, here's the punter trying to come over here and catch footballs. Like we just absolutely want to try to drill his hands and let's see if he can catch these new quarterback balls with the laces right on his palm and, almost make his hand bleed. Right. So there might've been that element to it, but both of those guys they threw it so hard that, we tried, there's like 3 or 4 of us in the line. Like, how one guy would do one route, another guy would do another route. Well, there'd be sometimes where all 4 of us or 3 of us would get in the same spot to catch the same ball. And a lot of times we would just be like, hey man, you got Mettenberger. Hey man, you got Rusty. Like I'll come back. Right. And there was almost like an argument or a fight not to try to catch heaters from those guys. So, but they definitely could chuck it.
I always thought Tannehill threw a nice football to you guys. I mean, it was like on time, perfect. It wasn't the fastest, wasn't the slowest, but it was always there.
So I'll say that like Tannehill and probably Matt Hasselbeck were the 2 that it was just like, oh, this is perfect. And both of them were similar in a sense of like you would be kind of running like the top end of a route, right, of an out route or something like that. And you would get to it and you would turn and the ball would be like exactly where it needed to be. It wasn't like where I felt like sometimes with Mettenberger and Rusty, like you would kind of turn and you're waiting and then they just drill it as hard as they could at you, right? Now, like Hasselbeck and Tannehill both knew like, hey, this is where the ball needs to go and I'm going to throw it here and this is where it's going to be. And it was just made it so much easier.
Brett Kern is with us, former Titans punter. I have to say this. There was I guess last week, a Titans media depth chart of media members and what position they would play. Having me at punter, I mean, look, I think you classify as media now, so I will very graciously turn it over to you because I'm going to shank a lot of punts if it's me back there.
Hey, take pride in that. That's an athlete's position back there. You want to take pride in the punter spot over the kicker spot. Punters are better athletes than the kickers. So take pride in that you got, the punter spot. And you probably have the longest career out of anybody on that whole sheet because you're not getting beat up.
It's very true, unless Vrabel calls a fake and makes me play quarterback. But that might be something,
that's
right?
True as well. Yeah, I mean, I got a great chiropractor for you that I saw every day that week after I got absolutely smoked against Tampa on that fake field goal.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what? I think you would do a much better job. You're an all-pro, so I'm going to let you. I'm going to let you take those duties with this fake team that has been put together.
I think the funniest part about it is Jared getting put at the slot when he's been throwing heaters at Restrepo the whole time. So
I know that's what's ironic about it. Brett, appreciate it as always, my friend, and we will talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good. Y'all have a good week.
You too. Brett Kern, former Titans punter, joining us here on the program, and usually at 10 o'clock. But there's an announcement coming up at 10 o'clock.
Big announcement
that we are very excited about. And again, a friend of the show will be joining us at 10 to make that announcement. But coming up next, it looks like there's a location for the 2027 NFL draft. And I got to tell you, this might be the best one yet.
Oh,
We will
I
discuss
like
that
this.
coming up next here on the Chase and Big Joe Show. We are live today in Gallatin at the Habitat Restore, third annual Playhouse project for the Habitat of Humanity of Sumner County. And we're here with Pella and Windows and Doors in Nashville today on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. 106.3 The Game on this Monday. This song's appropriate. It's how I feel daily sometimes. Let's
Yeah,
go
right?
crazy. But don't let the elevator bring us down, okay?
But if you won't go crazy, you'd go insane.
That's true.
Something like that.
If we weren't all, yeah, that's right. If we couldn't laugh, we'd all go insane.
There we go.
According to Jimmy Buffett, the late, great Jimmy Buffett. We are live today in Gallatin at the Habitat Restore for the Habitat for Humanity of Sumner County's third annual Playhouse project. 10 local families will receive custom-built playhouses this afternoon, which is really cool. They'll be here around 3:45 to meet their sponsor teams and receive their playhouse. DVD going to be here as well. And our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville are building 2 playhouses today. And that's why we're here. The Preds are here, the Titans are here, and so many other great partners as well. But I said going into the break, the 2026 draft is going to be in Pittsburgh.
Correct.
The 2027 draft, it looks like, is going to be on the Mall in Washington, D.C., by the Washington Monument. And you think about all the historic things that have taken place there.
Right.
Now to add the NFL draft, what a backdrop that's going to be. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, they said the Washington Monument will be the backdrop. So you're facing, if you've ever been there, so facing up that way. So you can put 500,000 people on that mall.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's going to be, I mean, you were there and Forrest Gump did his thing.
I did, yeah. No,
That
it
was a good time. But no, I mean, how do you
Gen
top
A.
that? How do you top that one, right? I mean, that's going to be beautiful.
I mean, we're always going to say that our favorite, of course, is the one that was here in Nashville. But I think it's also okay to give credit where credit is due. I mean, the backdrop of Lambeau Field was awesome.
Yep.
There in Green Bay.
But they've all been good.
Yeah. I mean, I think the NFL has got smart, got out of Radio – not that Radio City was bad, but, got out of New York. They had been there for so long. And to go to Chicago and Philadelphia and Nashville and Vegas and Green Bay and Kansas City and Cleveland. I mean, they've hit all their cities. And, it could have been very easy. Hey, we're going to do it in Milwaukee. No, we're actually going to do it in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And so I think that's been really good. And it's made it, it's added another element to it.
But I think we set the tone. I had something to do with it. In 2019, that's what you compare it to. Detroit compared it to us. Vegas compared it to us. Green Bay compared. I mean, so it's always Nashville set the tone on that day, that draft day in that was 6 years ago, that everybody wants to match or exceed. And so they've been just as good. I'm not seeing things better or worse than what we did here in Nashville, but having the backdrop in D.C., doing that, I mean, it's going to be stunning. Happening in 2 years. So next year, Pittsburgh, and then Washington, D.C. after that. So it'll be Archie Manning will be Pittsburgh, and then he'll be number 1 next year. And then Archie Manning may be number 1 at 27, Chaser, if he stays in college and doesn't want to do that, gets his money, which I probably would do that. So I'm calling it right now. Arch Manning will be the first pick in the 2027 draft in Washington, D.C.
By who?
God, that's a great question. I say Arch Manning gets drafted by number 1 by the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, wow.
They collapse and keep collapsing.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yep.
Oh, man. I like that.
Could happen.
Because, let's see. Dak's, I mean, that would actually be good. I mean, Dak's contract's probably – I forgot how long he signed for.
Forever.
I wouldn't hate that as a Cowboys fan.
I mean, would that not be?
I mean, if he's good, I mean, I don't even know if he's good or not, but we'll find out.
I mean, Manning's the iconic quarterback name, right? I mean, it's got to be Archie, Eli, and Peyton. I mean, it has to be. So you got the most iconic quarterback name with the number 1 franchise to do that would be perfect. I was looking up the Cowboys they had a number 1 pick. I thought they did. In 77, they took Dorsett. He was second, and somehow they traded with Seattle to pick Tony Dorsett in that year, which is crazy. So I can't remember the last time the Cowboys.
What year was that?
1977.
Jeez.
And they won the Super Bowl that year, too, with Dorsett. But they gave up the farm to Seattle to get him back then.
And you said 89 is the last time they had the number 1 overall pick with Aikman?
Aikman. That's right.
Interesting.
So, look, why is he – let me ask you this. Why is he never talked about in eliteness? Aikman?
That's a great question. I mean, I at the time he certainly was elite, but it was also a completely different league. Like, I think he's not talking about that now because everybody wants to compare his stats to now.
Yeah.
And that's not fair because it was a, I mean, one of their most prominent players was a fullback,
Right.
and they don't have that anymore.
No, you're
Daryl
right.
Moose Johnson.
Every time we talk about elite quarterbacks, Troy Aikman never gets mentioned. I mean, he's 3-0 in the Super Bowl. He played great in the Super Bowl. I mean, he was the factor for that team. I mean, he held it all together. He had all the different playmakers with Irvin and Smith and Alvin Harper and Novacek, but that guy was the glue, and he never gets talked about in that elite status. I think that's unfair.
Now Ben goes, well, it doesn't mean the Cowboys will be that bad. They could just trade up.
Sure.
If you're trading up to get a quarterback when you have Dak under contract for a few more years, I think
right.
Think that says you're bad.
Yeah, no,
There's
exactly.
a reason for that.
Yeah. Plus Arch,
Unless Jerry's like, I want him. Get him. I want him. Steven, I want him.
I mean, Grandpa is able to figure out a way his uncle didn't have to go to the Chargers and get to the Giants. So if I'm Arch Manning, collect the money this year, collect it next year, and then go out in 27.
Jordan in Nashville, thoughts, 2028 draft in Miami on the beach?
Could see that.
Have they? Okay, so they've done this for what? 10 years?
16 or yeah. Philadelphia,
because the
Dallas.
movie Draft Day was 2014, and that was still in New York.
Yep.
So I want to say 15 or 16 was the first in outside of New York.
Yes,
Chicago.
That's right. Yeah.
And do they do 2 in Chicago, or do they?
I don't remember. I should look it up. I'm too lazy. But everybody's going to want a piece of this pie. I mean, you talk about iconic landmarks all across, the country that you could have those things at. I mean, Miami did great.
They did. All right. So they did 15 and 16 in Chicago, then Philly, Arlington, Nashville, virtual, Cleveland, Vegas, Kansas City, Detroit, Green Bay, Pittsburgh, DC.
Okay.
So, I mean, Miami certainly would. I mean, they haven't done that yet. So Miami would be good. Maybe Jacksonville when the new stadium's done.
Yeah, man, I would not want to be on the. How do you pick it?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to hit every city, Tampa.
Yep.
Those are the Florida cities. Seattle could be cool.
I think he'd move it around. I think Seattle probably 28. Just move it all around.
LA hasn't had it yet.
True.
San Francisco. You do it there. I mean, they haven't had it yet.
Yeah, that's why it's going to be. I don't think it comes
Phoenix
in my lifetime. It comes back here.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a while because I mean, the only repeat they've had is Chicago, and that was at the beginning.
Yep,
of doing this. So coming up next, we have a big announcement. Coach Jeff Fisher will join the show. Coming up next, we'll tell you what that's all about here on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game on this Monday. We're out here in Sumner County at the Habitat Restore in Gallatin for Habitat for Humanity of Sumner County's third annual Playhouse project. They're doing that today, so we're excited to be here. But we're also excited about the announcement that is coming out right now. Jon Gruden, the longtime NFL head coach and Super Bowl winning coach, is joining the Nashville Cats as a partner with their ownership group. And to talk more about that, we bring in our head coach, Jeff Fisher, who, of course, is with AF1 and the Nashville Cats as their senior partner. Coach, congratulations. I know you battled Coach Gruden a lot on the field, but you got to be excited to work with him on this.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. We've been talking for several weeks about it, and John, Don's just what a great personality, and he's had this great career, and he's kind of he's synonymous with football, and so we were talking. Then of course the relationship with his obviously his brother and the time that Jay spent in the indoor world is it just kind of all fit and came together. So he's the first of probably several new ownership team members that we're going to be rolling out and announcing over the next couple of weeks. So we've been working behind the scenes. We said all along we got a good product, and he agrees, and he's going to give us a little love out there. The stuff he's doing now with Barstool and his boxes and things like that. It's really fun to watch. And then, of course, he was involved in the draft. So we'll try to get him involved in our quarterbacks here, down the line. But we're just happy to have him on board. And, I think he'll attract some more people and draw specific attention to what we're doing here in Nashville and at the league as far as that's concerned.
Jeff Fisher is with us. So John joins. And I know that we've talked with you a lot about that. You've been kind of building this thing from scratch, and you had to make some changes after last year and not necessarily start over, but definitely redo a few things. And so now the goal is to get to year 3. How has it been going so far? Because I got to tell you, Joe and I did a couple of games at Municipal Auditorium. The crowds have been very nice, and I know they're going to continue to get bigger.
Yeah, they are. And you said year 3. We look at it as year 2. We kind of scratched last year because, we so much of it was out of the control of the members and the teams and the owners. So once we reestablished a new league in AF1 rather than AFL, we look at this as our inaugural season. So, we're talking to numerous cities and franchises and investors that want to bring new clubs into. Those are ongoing. So once we get through the season, we're going to have a real exciting off season, what I'm talking about. But things are going well. I mean, yesterday, the Cats were off, but we had an overtime thriller last night, which was really amazing between Salina and Albany at Albany. Albany came into that game undefeated, and then all of a sudden people are looking at each other going, wait a minute, we're in overtime? And there were over 100 points scored in the game, and both teams had a possession, thankfully, and Albany ended up winning in overtime. So had a good weekend overall with respect to the league, and we're kind of looking forward to the things that are happening over the next few weeks. And that would include our game here on the 24th at Municipal against Oregon Lightning, and then followed up several weeks later at F&M Bank Arena against Corpus Christi to finish the regular season. So we got a lot going on, good things going right now, and to be able to bring John in and have him partner up as a part of the ownership team is really cool.
Talking to Jeff Fisher, the commissioner of the AF1. Coach, how did this conversation come about with you and Mr. Gruden?
Well, the Barstool Group reached out to me. They wanted me to come on right prior to the Titans pick to start the draft just to discuss, and they did that throughout the first round. So, and John was he was part of a panel that was going to be doing the Q&A through the first round. So John and I had, a couple of days prior, we had a conversation. It was like, what are you up to? What are you up to? Remember the days, kind of reminisce. You know, we did something that most of the conversation about our past wasn't about, you know, the championship games, you know, and things like that, but rather we did a really special trip together. We did a USO tour to Iraq, John and I, and then Bill Cower and Tom Coughlin and John Harbaugh. So that was quite a group. And so we were kind of reminiscent on our trip to Iraq with the USO and just encouraging the troops over there and the great time we had. And it was time to get together again. And I said, well, I got an idea. And he loved it.
I think it's a win-win for everybody involved. Coach, you mentioned earlier about getting him involved, the awareness of that. Is this what this is about, to let people know that this league is out there, it's still going, it's vibrant, and adding a name like John Gruden brings that awareness that you probably can't get many other places?
Well, I think, yeah, it does. I mean, you're competing in a lot of different worlds out there in the spring, especially, you know, in the indoor. I mean, there's not much competition. There's several other leagues, but we're not too concerned about that. But, you know, it's just, there's so many things to draw, you know, a fan base or just the demographics attention away from what we're doing. And we wanted to zero it in and bring it back because, you know, these things were, I mean, these games and, you know, the leagues and the years and the seasons that preceded us coming back in were pretty special. We wanted to bring that back. And so, like I said, John's one of several that we expect to bring in and be part of our team, in addition to, you know, several others that we're looking at bringing in as part of the ownership team at the league level.
I got to imagine in the last year, you being the commissioner of this, have talked to so many ex-teammates, players, coaches, people that you had dealings with in NFL who are just kind of, I don't say enamored with what you're doing, but like they see how you're re-energized, how you like this, how you're doing this, and want to be a part of this. I can imagine you've talked to a lot of people in the last year.
Yeah, we've had a lot of conversations, you know, and they're going, well, what are you doing it for? I go, well, I knew nothing about the game itself, the indoor game, while we were doing our stuff. We've talked about that many times on different shows, the three of us. But once I got into it, it just was really cool. And bottom line is this, you're helping people, and that's the way we're wired, man. That's what you guys are doing right now, out of the office right now. You're helping a worthwhile, needy charity. And this is a way to stay involved, engaged in the game. And people are like, well, why that level? I go, well, because it's cool when, you know, you can affect communities, you can affect kids, and there's great ownership groups out there, and to be able to have the opportunity to travel around and, you know, put this thing back together, it's be special. Plus, I think that we all think that the timing is good, you know, from the standpoint of where, you know, the ability to stream and, you know, we got a broadcast partner in Vice right now that does the game of the week, and they did a great job last night. Game wasn't as close as we would have liked. That was the Oregon-Washington game, but still they did a good job. So, you know, things are just, you know, people are reaching out to us. That's the good part. You know, by that I mean we've had numerous inquiries about ownership groups wanting to join the league, whether, you know, they had a team prior in a different league or they want to be a startup, but nonetheless, a lot to keep us busy. But this is a big step for us with respect to John coming on board, and who knows, we'll have Jay, and, you know, who knows, you know, we've talked about Hulk Hogan and Real American Beer. Could you imagine Hulk Hogan and John Gruden in a conversation?
that could be interesting.
Like to see Gruden up above Hulk's head, you know, on that hand press, you know, thing. Yeah, see how that goes.
that could certainly be interesting for sure. Jeff Fisher is with us. The Cats back in action coming up Saturday night on the road at Albany, and then back at home at Municipal Auditorium against the Oregon Lightning on May 24th. So you can get your tickets at NashvilleCats.com. Jeff, I mean, do you still feel like a head coach, just in a different way with this, what you're doing with the Cats in AF1?
No, I'm not, you know, not a head coach. I'm just having fun. I mean, I would say, well, yeah, I feel like, you know, you get that same feeling when you pull into the office in the morning prior to going on the practice field. I'm not stepping on the practice field. So letting Coach Arbet handle all that and the players and things like that. I'm just having fun, meeting people, making new friends, having great conversations, and, trying to, express, the legitimate optimism that I have and a lot of other people have with respect to the future of the 50-yard game. It's pretty cool.
Not that you didn't have respect before, but do you have a different understanding of what being a commissioner means? I know it's not the grandest scale of a Roger Goodell, but still, you are the most important person in the AF1. Do you have a kind of different understanding what goes in now that you've been in this role for a year, Jeff?
Well, I knew that in order to be successful, you have to surround yourself with good people at any level, at any occupation, vocation, or whatever. That's what you do. You surround yourself with good people, and that's what we've done, and that's why we're taking the steps. I'm just here to help out, here to consult. For example, we had an overtime game last night. All right, and I don't know how much you guys are into the game itself. I mean, I'm still learning the rules, but you're familiar with what a deuce is. That's where when you kick off and you kick it through the uprights, it's 2 points. So
Yes.
do you want to start out overtime with deuces being permissible, meaning, all right, this game's going to end on the opening kickoff of overtime because the team that lost the toss is kicking off and they kick it through the 2 posts and game's over? So we got some things to do. We're going to have some conversations regarding that. Just to, hey, we're in a position now where we can put together our own overtime format. It can be a hybrid of anything and everything. And how do we want to go ahead and do that? So those are the things that kind of piqued my interest, just because of the experience that I had, with the competition committee at the league. But we're just trying to help, man. We're just having fun and staying busy, trying to help. And, we're going to look back 2 or 3 years from now, because we do have that 3 to 5 year plan with respect to the league and the different franchises, and go, hey, we pulled this off. This will be fun. So
Yeah, as Chase said earlier,
opportunity.
the 2 games we had at Municipal, I mean, it was fun crowd, exciting games, good times. It's not going to break your wallet. I mean, it was a lot of fun seeing that back on the field again, because it brought back memories from 20 years ago. I think what you guys have done starting out, Jeff, has been fantastic.
Well, I appreciate it. We're just starting. You can't get it all done at once, but we're doing it right. Last year was hard because so many things were out of our control. But this year, even though we got a late start, when I say we, the Cats, I mean, our football team, mind you, had a 1 week of training camp before they played their first game. So, but we got a late start. We got our feet on the ground, and things are significantly different. I think that our team, Coach Arbett's team, the Cats players, pretty much will mirror where the organization is, because we've improved significantly over the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Coach, before I let you go, I need to ask your thoughts about the passing of Steve McMichael. You played with him in Chicago. You were a part of what I think is the greatest one-season NFL team of all time. What did Steve McMichael mean to you, Coach, and what did he mean to the Bears family and to football?
Well, he was such a force and a personality on the field. But what people didn't realize is what a gentleman he was off the field. The lights would go on, and oh my gosh, he will wreck a game, an offensive line, a season for an opposing team. But when that game was over, man, he had his arms around and hugged. We all were close together during that, but he was an extraordinary human being, man. He'd been through a lot. He fought each and every day to the end several weeks ago, but in the peak of his career, he was a gentleman and a friend to everybody on that roster and beyond. And so we'll miss him. Every time I see his picture pop up, I have great memories. So thanks for the opportunity to recognize him. He was a really special person.
Absolutely. Mongo, as he was known for sure. Coach,
Ming.
Congratulations.
We called him Ming. Yeah.
Ming.
Okay. I called him
right.
Ming,
I know
Mongo, whatever. Yeah. And he called
had
us a lot of different things as well.
Things we probably can't say on the radio for
That's
sure. But
true.
I know you're very excited to have Coach Gruden involved in things with the Cats, and we look forward to more conversations moving forward. And with the next game coming up on the 10th and the next home game on the 24th, we'll be talking a lot. But thanks so much for doing this today.
Appreciate you guys. Great way to start the week off.
Absolutely. Coach Jeff Fisher joining us here on the show, of course, with the Nashville Cats, as he's the president and partner, announcing that John Gruden has joined as a partner in the ownership group with the Nashville Cats. So going to be really cool. And we are supposed to have Coach Gruden join us later in the week as well. So look forward to talking to him about his involvement. And I have a feeling we'll get into some other football things
Oh, yeah.
as well. We are live today at the Habitat Restore in Gallatin for Habitat for Humanity of Sumner County's third annual Playhouse project. Our friends at Pella Windows and Doors are out here. They got their tents set up. They are building playhouses for 10 local families. They're going to do this all today. It looks like the weather has cleared up. A little chilly, but they're everybody's out here painting, working, putting stuff together. We would need to call in Dr. Crane to come help us with his woodworking skills on this. But going to be really cool this afternoon when those families get their playhouses. The Preds are here. The Titans are here as well. And we're here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game on this Monday.
That sexy thing.
We're out in Sumner County. Joe, get into this one. We're out in Sumner County, Habitat for Humanity, their Playhouse build. Dr. Crane is back at the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service, and our show is presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel. I appreciate Coach Jeff Fisher for joining us in the last segment. Again, if you missed the announcement, John Gruden, a longtime NFL coach, Super Bowl winning coach, has joined the Cats as a partner with their ownership group. And so that's really, really cool to have him involved, with everything he's doing with Barstool and all of that. And he hopefully will join us later this week. We look forward to talking to Coach
But
Gruden.
it won't be the first time a celebrity's taken, the sound started with Conway Twitty, and I think Richard Sturban was involved. A lot of sports people were involved.
Well, I mean, Larry Schmittou was a very successful coach with Vanderbilt.
Schmittou is number one on Mount Rushmore of Nashville sports people.
Yeah. I mean, he's very, very important
So,
with Nashville
Then
sports.
the Speedway had, like Marty Robbins and those guys back in the 70s and 80s. So it's very cool. Nashville's not new at adding celebrities to things like that.
No, I mean, that's a part of our charm, so to speak. I have a stat for you, and I know how much you like these things. So we've been talking about what if the Predators win the draft lottery tonight and get the number 1 overall pick. That means that the Titans and the Preds would have had the number 1 overall pick in the same year. And so people have asked me, well, how many times has that happened? So our crack staff from Music City Bets sent me this. Do you know the last time that one city has shared the number 1 overall pick was?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, hold on. It's got New York. That's the obvious one, right?
New York did it in 1966.
Is that Joe Namath?
It was Steve Shilcott with the Mets and Cassie Russell with the Knicks.
Huh, that was not.
Big fan of them. And they also did it in 1965. Tucker Fredrickson with the Giants, the New York Giants, and Andre Villieu with the Rangers.
Okay. So I would assume it'd be a Chicago, New York, L.A., Boston. I mean, the team.
There's a southern city that you're forgetting. It's happened twice.
Atlanta.
That would be correct.
Jimmy-
1975, Steve Bartkowski with the Falcons and David Thompson with the Hawks.
Oh.
And in 2001,
Michael Vick.
Michael Vick with the Falcons and Ilya Kovalchuk with the Thrashers.
Wow.
So there you go there. Let's see. Some others. 76, Houston. John Lucas with the Rockets. Floyd Bannister with the Astros.
Okay.
1983, Minnesota.
Ooh, hold on. let me guess this. Minnesota. So is it hockey? No, I didn't have hockey.
That's
okay.
yeah.
I don't have no idea.
North
what that-
Stars. Brian Lawton.
Okay.
And then the Twins.
Kirby Puckett.
Tim Belcher.
Tim Belcher.
Yep.
Wouldn't have got that.
Tampa Bay, 2008. A guy we know.
David Price.
No,
Oh, not David Price.
but a guy we know.
2008. Football?
No.
Baseball.
Baseball is one. Hockey's the other.
I have no idea. Stamkos?
Steven Stamkos and Tim Beckham with the Rays.
Okay.
Uh,
That's right. Price 107. My bad.
2010, DC.
It's hockey again?
It's no. Baseball and basketball.
Bryce Harper?
Bryce Harper.
John Wall.
John Wall. Good
JoJo, get it.
And then the last time that it happened was 2016 in Philadelphia.
2016, the number 1 pick in 6. Is it hockey again?
Baseball and basketball.
Joel Embiid?
Nope.
The guy from LSU. What's his name?
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons.
Yep.
Yes. All right. Half credit for that. And then
You won't get the Phillies.
okay.
Mickey Monziak.
Oh, that's so Monzo.
So that's the last time it happened. And then you had Chicago, I guess in 23 had the Blackhawks had the number 1 pick. And then the next year was Caleb Williams, but they weren't the
Okay.
same year.
Who was it that went to the flip a coin for Sidney Crosby. It's Pittsburgh, and who's the other team in 07 or whatever it was, or 06? Out of the lockout, they flipped a coin. And
Oh, that's right.
is it Anaheim
Maybe.
or San Jose? One of
I
those.
think it was Anaheim
Okay.
because, well, and remember in 03 when the draft was here, they took Fleury with the number 1.
I had a Flurry 2 nights ago.
Was it good? A McFlurry?
Oreo McFlurries.
Nice.
Awesome.
Good. I'm glad for
Thank
I'm
you.
happy for you.
But you talk about moments where, had it gone the other way, imagine Anaheim, if that had Crosby, what would have happened at Pittsburgh? So that's why I think tonight, I know Nashville's up there, but I bet you, Chase McCabe, the Blackhawks get the number 1 pick.
Oh, wait. Ricky's right. Actually, it would have been technically the Bears in 2023, but they traded it to Carolina and they took Bryce Young. Remember, the Bears had that pick.
That's right.
So they would have had it in the same year
That's right.
with the Blackhawks.
So that kind of count. Like,
Kind
that's
of
count.
counts. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. Thank you, Ricky, for that one.
Now get back to work.
Yep. Hit our friends at Hump Brothers Pizza. Rick does a great job there. 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We continue here in Gallatin next on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase and Big Joe, we're live today in Gallatin, Habitat for Humanity of Sumner County's third annual Playhouse project at the Habitat Restore in Gallatin. We're here with our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. They're building 2 playhouses today. The Preds are here, the Titans are here, but always enjoy our partnership with Pella as well, and we're glad to be here. DVD going to be here as well. And then tonight at 6 o'clock, you can join me, Willie Donick, and Hal Gill. We'll be out at Brewhouse South in Cool Springs. I guess I'm going to dub it a special edition of Smashville Live, but the draft lottery show is going to be happening, and we will find out, do the Preds get the number 1 overall pick? Where will they be picking? Barry Trott's also going to speak today at 12:15, and we'll air that at that time during DVD as well. 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We say hello to Clay, who has called in. Hello, Clay. What's going on?
Joe, you really got me on this one now.
What did you do?
Clay called me and thought he was calling the studio. And said, "Put you on hold. Be right there with you." And hung up on it.
Clay, I got a
Sometimes,
question.
Boys, you just mess up, you know. I texted Joe. It's been a while since I talked to y'all. The day that I brought donuts, I believe, which was 2 weeks ago Friday, I believe.
Feels
But
like a
that
month.
doesn't mean that I don't listen to the show, because
Okay.
I do.
Well,
Because
and we appreciate
I'm
that.
going to get you a meter.
yes. And so I had texted Joe, should I call in? And so then I called him. He says, call now. That was during the break. And then I called his number instead of the studio.
Sound like Greg Polk. Do you send attachments? When you send emails?
If you don't, you're Greg.
I got a question for you. Were you at a fine establishment in Bellevue known as the Alley Pub on Saturday?
I'm there quite a bit.
But were you there Saturday?
Yes,
Okay, like during the day?
correct.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure I saw you and thought, okay, he'll come over in a second. Then I didn't see you again. So I thought that was you, but
Chase, my apologies, because, you know, we both love Vanderbilt. We both love the Dallas Cowboys, but just like Jerry Jones. So we do have a lot in common. So my apologies. I would have loved to talk to you.
yeah, I know. I should have said something too, but I was like, I think that's Clay, but
Well, Clay, it's
You know.
hard to find Chase when he's hiding under the table. So next time, look harder.
I was.
No,
Clay-
actually, it's not hard to find Chase. He's a big dude like you, Big Joe.
It's true. I
Yeah,
am.
but
In
he's
fact,
handsome.
to the point that sometimes people think that I am Big Joe.
Which is perfect.
Yes.
Boys, Nick asked me what I wanted to talk about. So I said, I tell you what, how about this crappy weather?
It is. I mean, it is. It's a little chilly. The rain's kind of gone away where we are. So thank you for your weather forecast,
Clay, where were you yesterday when Vanderbilt hit that walk-off homer?
I'll be honest, Joe. I watched the whole game until the top of the ninth finished. You know, we cut it to
Oh.
7-5 in
Some
the
fan.
eighth, and it was almost 6 o'clock. And
What do you have to do?
most nights around that time, if I'm not busy driving, I go to see my mother. That's
Okay.
the time of day that I go see my mother.
You're not going to make me feel bad
And
about this.
So I left the pub to go see my mom. Did not watch the bottom of the ninth, but I did hear it on the radio.
Okay.
Well, thank
On
you
the
for
way to
listening.
my mother.
Thank you for listening to 102.5. We appreciate that. All right, Clay, we got to run.
Correct. See you, boys.
See you, Clay.
Thanks for
Thank you.
good content that time.
Appreciate that.
I turned it on the SC network and it was 7-5 and Vanderbilt 2 guys on base. I'm like, just see how this ends.
Yeah.
And that dude just crushed one to deep center. I was like, holy cow.
Well,
Great
Vandy's in a good position to potentially host a super regional, right? I mean, isn't that Willie says maybe. It's kind of looking that way. But I mean, you got to love the turnaround that Tim Corbin and company have had.
I think they're 34-14, 14-10 in conference, and just keep winning. The Vols are spiraling down the other way right now, so Vandy just keep on winning.
The SEC tournament's going to be, I mean, just like the basketball tournament, the SEC tournament's going to be fun.
Is that 2 weeks?
Yeah, in Hoover.
Yeah, holy cow!
I still want to see that here. I mean, I know they got their home in Hoover, and they kind of have their spots for everything, but it'd be cool to see them bring it here.
Yeah, I mean, we got enough already, right? I mean,
you're like, all right, yeah, we're close.
Because you got to, I mean, the thing about Hoover is they've got all the RVs that people show up, 1,000 people show up. So can you accommodate that here? I don't know.
It's a great question.
Aren't these Savannah Bananas coming to town this weekend at Nissan Stadium?
Is that this weekend?
I think so.
Oh my, they've sold out like everything they've been to.
Good Lord, man.
I mean, they were last year, like the last couple of years, they've been at First Horizon. Now they're at Nissan Stadium.
They sold 81,000 tickets at Clemson Stadium. 81,000.
You know what this is going to do, don't you? I guarantee, and it's probably going to do it because I'm about to bring it up. But somebody's going to go, wait a minute. They put a baseball field in Nissan Stadium. Well, couldn't we turn that into a baseball stadium and just leave it up next to the new Titan Stadium?
All right.
Willie says no. Willie's like, no.
Well, when the Dodgers moved to LA, they put it at the Coliseum, and the left field wall was like 240 or something. So they put up like a 50-foot wall.
Yeah.
That you had to knock it over, and guys were just tagging that left and right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that is something. Coming up next, we'll tell you what day it is and celebrity birthdays. Again, we're here at Habitat for Humanity of Sumner County's third annual Playhouse Project at the Habitat Restore in Gallatin. We're here with our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. They're building playhouses for 10 local families today here in Sumner County. So really, really cool. We'll come back with what day is it and celebrity birthdays next. 102.5, 106.3 The Game. 6-3 the game. DVD is coming up next. Willie and Adam are already here. D-Mace will be here in just a second. We're at the Habitat for Humanity of Sumner County's third annual Habitat Playhouse project here at the Habitat Restore in Gallatin. Our friends with Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville, they're building 2 playhouses here today. So appreciate them for having us, and DVD will be here throughout the day as well. And then tonight is 6 o'clock. You can come out to Brewhouse South in Cool Springs, where we have Smashville Live quite a bit. I'll be out there. Willie will be out there, and we'll be joined by Hal Gill as the Predators will find out where they will be picking in this year's entry draft with the draft lottery. Can they get number 1 overall? We will find out later tonight, and Barry Trotz will speak in just under 2 hours at Bridgestone Arena. But with that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays. And, of course, it is presented by Jarrett Companies, Inc., above and beyond industry standards. Wide-ranging fire protection, sprinkler systems, extinguishers, kitchen hood suppression. Visit them at jarrettcompaniesinc.com.
All right, gentlemen. First, unless we have Cinco de Mayo Day, obviously. You can get a nice enchilada after the show. Let's see.
Margarita! Sorry, got excited.
Okay. Great Lakes Awareness Day. So if you like the Great Lakes or the
Is
Finger
that the
Lakes,
butter or the lakes itself?
the actual lakes itself.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
Hug a Shed and Take a Selfie Day. So I didn't know that was a thing. International Midwives Day. Let's see. Melanoma Monday. Museum Lovers Day. Nail Day. National Cartoonist Day. National Enchilada Day. Speaking of enchiladas.
There we
National
go.
Hoagie Day. National Meeting Planners Appreciation Day.
I bet
National.
they're meeting to.
Go ahead,
ahead.
Joe.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I mean, meetings. Nothing ever gets a anyway. So that's a redundant day.
All right. National Silence of Shame Day, Oyster Day, Revenge of the Fifth Day, Square Root Day, and to wrap it all up, Totally Chipotle Day.
Oh, okay. Revenge of the Fifth Day, you said?
Yes.
All right. I don't watch those little nerd movies y'all watch. All right, time for celebrity birthdays. Got to get these within 2. Here we go. First birthday off
Willie's here, too. He's excited about this.
from Raiders of the Lost Ark, John Reese Davies. How old is he? Remember, he's the one that says bad date.
74.
77.
81 years of age. Going down here. This girl's beautiful. Don't know anything she's in, though, so we'll just skip past her. Never heard of her. Superman, Henry Cavill, whatever.
Yeah. Henry Cahill.
Cavill, it's Cavill.
Cavill.
He was great at Mission Impossible, though, with that weirdo Tom Cruise.
I'm going to say 47.
53.
42 years old.
Okay.
Singer, one of Chase's favorites, Adele. How old is Adele today?
She's great. 34.
42.
37. All
That's
right.
close.
Actor Michael Murphy. He was in that one movie.
Thank you. It really narrows it down.
Yep.
54.
53.
87.
Nice.
Actor Lance Henriksen. He was in Millennium and the show Aliens. I think Aliens. He was in part 2 Aliens. Yeah, Lance Henriksen. He's a great actor. You see his face, you know who he is.
56.
62.
85.
Jeez.
Comedian actor Michael Palin from Monty Python.
82.
80.
82 dead on. Here's the one birthday that makes you feel older than dirt. How old is former MTV news correspondent Kurt Loder? You remember
Jeez,
him?
Yeah. I do
Kurt
remember
Loder.
him.
How old is Kurt Loder?
Probably 73.
74.
He's 80 years old today.
Wow.
So do that what you want. Actor Lisa Albacher. She was Axel Foley's girl/friend in original Beverly Hills Cop.
65.
67.
68. 2-1 Chaser. The guy who started the downfall for fake news, Brian Williams. How old is that liar, Brian Williams?
68.
70.
66. Chaser knows his fake news. 3-1. Chase is up on that right now. Let's go down. Singer Chris Brown.
38.
37.
36. 3-2. Good job, Dr. Crane. All right, baseball. Former Indians pitcher Charles Nagy. Don't you look at Willie.
54.
57.
58. We're tied at 3. Former Heisman Trophy winner from Oregon State, Terry Baker. Today's Terry Baker's birthday.
78.
82.
84. Dr. Crane's charge back 4-3. The greatest fantasy football player of all time, former Jets running back Brad Baxter, who scored 1,000 touchdowns from the 1-yard line when he played for the Jets. How old is Brad Baxter?
62.
65.
58. Former USC basketball player, NBA guy, Harold Miner.
Harold Miner.
He's a left-handed guy.
58.
62.
Willie asked, didn't he win the dunk?
Don't know that. 54.
Okay.
Derek Mason's best friend, Mushin Muhammad. Today's his birthday.
53.
57.
52. We're tied at 4. We got one birthday left. He just won Wimbledon U.S. Open. Carlos, I'm going to butcher his last name. It looks like Alcaraz.
It's correct.
Not Alcatraz, but Alcaraz. Okay, thank you. Alcaraz. That sounds really bad when you say it fast, but that's his name.
27.
28.
Oh, he's 22 years old.
So a tie?
It's
We're
a
gonna
tie.
have a tie?
It's a tie.
We don't have another one?
Hold on. Let's see real quick if I come up with one. Hold on. I got the list still up here.
It's probably a wrestling birthday.
The daughter on Family Ties, Tina Yothers, was not Michael J. Fox or Justine Bateman, the younger girl with the blonde hair. Tina Yothers.
52.
57.
At the buzzer, Charles McCabe wins 64. She is 52 years old. Well done.
Boom.
Nice.
Thank you very, very much. And thank you to our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. And, of course, Habitat for Humanity for having us at Habitat Restore here today. Again, they're going, by the end of the day, 10 local families here in Sumner County are going to receive custom-built playhouses. Very, very cool. So many people out here doing work. The Preds, the Titans, and, of course, Pella as well. DVD is coming up next.
Yeah, we leave our show every time to our guys out there. Look, you made it to the weekend. You got a work week ahead. You're thinking, oh, no. But listen, if you're going through anything, make sure you talk to somebody. On your cell phone, you can call or text 988. You can reach out to us. We're always here for you. Just let you guys know that your journey is your journey. It's a beautiful journey despite what's going on. And you are unique and you are powerful. Remember that. You are powerful. We love you. And more importantly, more than anything else in this world, God loves you.
I was at Metallica over the weekend. James Hetfield in the middle of the show gave that same message.
Love it.
That was very cool to see Metallica do that. That will do it for